Have you ever had an interaction where you told yourself a story about it? Maybe you just felt uncomfortable and you made an assumption about the person you were talking to in your relationship with them. Or maybe you judged them, or you felt judged unfairly, but you didn't say anything. So this story, it was just a story that you had. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. We all make up narratives about our interactions. This is our brain's way of making sense of the world. So for example, say you send a message to a friend and you don't hear back. You might have all kinds of stories about why. They're busy with that new job, or maybe there's something wrong, or they lost their phone. This is our brain's way of making sense of the world. Hi, I'm Kayli Larkin. I'm a love and attachment coach, and I help people develop romantic relationships with more ease, joy, and security. If you'd like more information, visit my website at kaylilarkin.com. Years ago, I was part of a group that practiced authentic communication. If someone was uncertain about an interaction or how someone felt about it, they would just ask. And I remember a particular moment when someone thought that I disliked something about them. For the purposes of this story, let's call it their hat. In reality, I thought their hat was lovely. I'm not exactly sure how they got the story that I didn't like it, and I was puzzled why they wanted to discuss why I didn't like the hat when, in fact, I did, and I believe I'd even mentioned my fondness for it. But sometimes the stories we dream up aren't even accurate. And so in this story, it turned out that the person themselves had doubts about their hat. They weren't sure about its quality. They weren't sure if it made them look sophisticated or maybe just a little bit silly. So sometimes the stories that we make up about other people and how they view us are magnified reflections of our own doubts and insecurities. And of course, sometimes our stories are perfectly true. We've hit the nail on the head. We know exactly how the other person's feeling or exactly what they're thinking. Maybe the girlfriend really is angry. Maybe the post worker is having a bad day and thinks we're an idiot. Intuition is incredibly important, and I'm a big believer in trusting our gut. But let's be perfectly honest with ourselves. How many of us are mind readers? We can be incredibly intuitive. We can have a good sense of people, but do we really know all the time what people are thinking and feeling? We can pick up if something is off, but do we really always know the reason why? Rather than jumping to conclusions, it's worth examining our stories to determine whether they're true or not. Our perceptions can be affected by the mood we're in, our past experiences, our expectations. Sometimes we get in trouble if we lean towards negative storytelling to ourselves. For example, if someone responds to us in a short, curt way, if we always jump to the conclusion they don't like us rather than questioning whether they're busy or having a bad day, if we're constantly assuming the worst, thinking there's something horribly wrong, if we don't hear back from someone right away, this can really affect us. Misinterpretations of what other people say or do can lead to misunderstandings, strained relationships, and missed connections. The good news is there are some really effective tools to help you check in with yourself around whether your story is true or not. We can get clarity by checking the evidence, asking the person directly when that's appropriate, considering their point of view, and practicing empathy. And we can also practice being mindful of our own thoughts without necessarily buying into them to prevent feeling awful unnecessarily. So for example, if a partner doesn't seem close, maybe they seem a little distant, instead of concluding that, they're losing interest, we're going to break up soon, consider whether they might be stressed out. Have a conversation about it. Sometimes in social situations, it's not possible or socially acceptable to have a conversation about our assumption. And the best we can do is to consider their point of view and have empathy for it. It's also helpful to be aware of any pre-existing beliefs or experiences that might bias our perceptions. So for example, if we know that we tend to doubt our own judgments, like questioning our choice of hat, that awareness can help us avoid automatically accepting the stories that we create about others' reactions to us. To clarify, I am not saying that we shouldn't trust ourselves. Self-trust is vital. However, it's important to recognize that the stories that we tell ourselves are not always accurate, and they're colored by our past experiences and expectations. So, by becoming more aware of these stories, we can improve our relationships and how we feel. If you liked this exploration of stories, you might enjoy my website at kaylilarkin.com, where you can find tons of free resources, classes, and sign up for my newsletter to get helpful content on relationships and attachment. This is Kayli Larkin, wishing you a beautiful relational journey.